You know that moment when a classroom just spirals into chaos? Well, it's really easy to point to one student and say, that's the problem. But what if the real story is so much bigger? What if it's a whole web of things we don't even think about? Today, we're going to break down that hidden ecosystem behind why classrooms get so chaotic. So, what is the real source of all this chaos? Is it really just bad kids, or is there something much, much deeper going on? We're going to trace the roots of misbehavior, and you'll see it's this tangled web of influences that starts long before a kid even steps foot inside a school. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we've got to get our terms straight, super important. Then we'll look at the two main players, the teacher and the student. After that, we're going to zoom way out to see the powerful forces outside the school, then zoom right back into the classroom itself before we pull it all together at the end. Okay, first things first. Before we can even get into the why, we need to be speaking the same language. You see, there's a huge difference between managing a classroom and disciplining a student, and getting that distinction is absolutely key to understanding everything else. Think of it like this. Management is the architecture. It's the blueprint for the entire classroom. It's proactive, it's about setting up the whole environment for success. Discipline, on the other hand, is more like a fire extinguisher. It's reactive. You use it when a specific problem flares up. See the difference? A really well-designed classroom, a well-managed one, is going to need a lot less discipline. So yeah, classroom management is the big picture. It's all the stuff a teacher does to make the room run smoothly. The routines, the rules, the way they teach. It's all about creating a climate where learning can actually happen. It's setting up the game so everyone can win. In discipline, it's a really important part of that big picture. It's one tool in the toolbox. It's the set of strategies you use to handle specific behaviors and keep things on track. It's not the whole story, not by a long shot, but it's a super crucial piece of the puzzle. Okay, so now that we've got our terms straight, let's look at the two people at the center of it all, the teacher and the student. We know a teacher's approach is critical, but what actually makes one style work and another one not so much? And this right here is one of the biggest takeaways from the source material. Consistency is everything. A teacher who is consistent with their roles and consequences creates a predictable environment. And for a student, you know what that predictability feels like? It feels like safety. It feels fair. It's the foundation for everything else. But here's the thing. There's no single best style. It depends on so much. I mean, are you teaching chemistry to 30 teenagers or finger painting to 10 5-year-olds? Totally different ballgame. And maybe the biggest factor is the teacher's own personality. What works for a super organized type A teacher might be a total disaster for someone who's more laid back and spontaneous. Now, let's remember, a classroom is not an island, not at all. Every single student who walks through that door is carrying their whole world with them. So to really get what's going on inside the classroom, we have to zoom out and look at the powerful forces that exist way beyond the school walls. And the first and probably most influential environment is, of course, the home. So much of what we see from a student at school is a direct reflection of what their life is like at home. And this is where things get really tough. I mean, if a kid isn't getting love or consistent guidance at home, why would they automatically trust other authority figures, like a teacher? And if they hear their parents criticizing teachers or saying school doesn't matter, that attitude doesn't just stay at the dinner table. It gets packed right into their backpack every single morning. But let's zoom out even further, because that home exists within a much broader society. And schools, well, they're not some protected bubble. They are a direct reflection of the world around them. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It says, misbehavior is often a mirror of society. If the world outside is chaotic, if we see people defying rules and authority all the time, why on earth would we expect a classroom to be some perfectly orderly, calm place that's totally immune to all of that? At the end of the day, kids are modeling what they see. They're sponges. So when the media they watch glorifies conflict, or when they see adults defying rules and getting away with it, those behaviors don't magically disappear at the school gate. They walk right into class with them. Okay, so we've looked at the world outside. Now let's walk back through those school gates. Because even with all those external pressures, the school environment itself plays a massive role. It can either calm things down or, well, make things a whole lot worse. And right at the heart of that school environment, you've got the teacher. Their actions, how prepared they are, their attitude, all of it can be the tipping point between an engaged class and a chaotic one. And it's fascinating because some very specific things a teacher does can unintentionally spark problems. An unprepared lesson, that leads to boredom. And you know what follows boredom? Disruption. A careless comment that disrespects a student's culture, that can create deep resentment that lasts for weeks. Even just giving an assignment that's way too hard can make a student act out because they're just frustrated.
But hold on, it's not fair to put this all on the teacher's shoulders. The institution itself, the school's rules, the way it's set up, and even what it teaches can also be a major source of the problem.
I mean, think about it. Being crammed into an overcrowded classroom creates instant stress. Super rigid rules that feel unfair can make students want to rebel. And a curriculum that feels totally pointless to a kid's actual life, that is just a recipe for them to check out. If the work is either mind-numbingly easy or impossibly hard, acting out is almost a natural response.
So we've looked outside the school and we've looked inside the school. We've seen all these different pieces. Now let's weave it all together and see the full, complicated picture. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? Misbehavior isn't just one thing. It's a symptom of this whole complex ecosystem. Sure, it starts with the student themselves, their own maturity, peer pressure, but it's fed by influences from their home, from the wider society, from the teacher's actions, from the school's rules, and even from the stuff they're being asked to learn. It's all connected. And that, right there, is the real takeaway. The point of all this isn't to find someone to blame. The point is to understand this entire web of influences. Because it's only when we truly get the why behind a student's behavior that we can even begin to find solutions that might actually work. And so I want to leave you with this final, really challenging question. When you see all these forces at play, from what's happening at home, to what's on the news, to the size of the classroom, it forces you to rethink those simple ideas about who's responsible. It's not a simple answer, is it? And that's exactly the point.